raw power and the dynamics of raw power and where that power comes from and who is dominant or which forces are dominating with their power. What's going on, frenzies? Stormie Calder here. I wanted to talk about the law of attraction because of the level of expertise that I have and how much I'm able to read and discern. I really, not only do I understand consciousness, but I understand power dynamics from the position of raw spiritual power. And what I think is really funny is that everybody's like, oh my gosh, spirit is doing this, or spirit said this, or this synchronicity happened. And not to like freak you guys out, but it's not always spirit. Okay, it has everything to do with raw power and the dynamics of raw power and where that power comes from and who is dominant or which forces are dominating with their power. So everyone has a certain amount of power, like a video game character, and we are given power. And depending on how many like sacred ceremonies we've done, that's me just being very esoteric, but depending on how much of that power we occupy in our consciousness, in our body, in our emotional state of awareness, we have different levels of power levels, like a video game character. So some people have really low levels of power because they've displaced their power across other people. Other people are actually holding their power for them. And some people have really high levels of power. For example, I am one of those high power players. I walk into a room and I'm immediately usually the most dominant force. And if I'm not, I can quickly become it. So what's really interesting is how people talk about the law of attraction, spirit, like, oh my God, spirit is just sending me this message. It's like, it could be spirit, or it could be the raw power that is overriding your free will, depending on who wants you to do what. So for example, I even had my guides channeled into me today. They said, hey, this person is overriding your power right now. They are doing mirror magic or mirror work, which is what you guys would assume is law of attraction work, where you assume that a person is acting towards you in a certain way. And while simply that looks like it's benevolent, fun work online, and people are like, oh, place yourself in the position of the other person and visualize them acting a certain way towards you. What the literal fuck? That is so manipulative. You guys have no idea. And I know it's a typical like law of attraction manifesting technique, and it is called mirror work. And depending on your intention, even if it's for forgiveness, even if you're seeking forgiveness or you're looking to love the other person, you are forcing them into a facet or a position to come forward. And I can't tell you how many times I have to override those things. And I'm like, I understand that they want me to act that way, but I'm not here to behave in the way that you think I should behave. I'm here to channel my own authentic core self-expression. And a lot of you guys don't even realize that what feels like spirit isn't spirit. It's actually somebody else's will, somebody else's power affecting you, because the way the universe works is that there are many different laws of power. There's a hierarchy of power, all right? Source, dominant spiritual force, can always override the other powers, but it depends on your ability to harness source within your body. So you can pray and pray and pray all day, but if you can't harness that ability in your body, or you can't harness the belief system, then you won't get access to the power, even if you pray a ton. And that's why people need prayers or ask for prayers, is because what they're doing is they're collecting power from other people. Now, I do have things to say about prayers. They're not always good. Praying for people is not always fantastic. It is, again, another way of moving power into place. Generally speaking, I would say prayer is fantastic if the other person asked for it, specifically. If they didn't ask for it, keep your hands off. Like, just keep your nose on your business. What you could do instead of praying for them is pray to God that God takes care of them and just be done with it. But the moment that we start steering, like, oh, I'm gonna visualize this person acting a certain way towards me, I am now manipulating that person's energetic and psychological expression to match what I perceive as being the right expression, what I want from them. And I'm going to go into this in depth in more videos and more places, but I think it's highly manipulative, and there's a lot of karmic baggage that comes with those decisions to do that level of mirror work. There are positive levels of mirror work as well, that I would say my work is perfecting my ability to show up authentically and to not manipulate or conform others around me. So my practice, as inconvenient as it is accepting the conditions as they are and changing myself, not wishing for other people to change, but being in a position of radical, authentic self-expression where I say I will not change the environment, because to do so is to manipulate something that is outside of me, which is manipulative. It is magic. Not always the great sort of magic. It is an act of manipulation. So if you don't have permission from the environment or permission from the people to do that manipulation, there is karma associated with this. All right. I'm really going to enjoy diving into this topic in depth over many different videos, because you're going to find through the next year with me that I'm going to challenge most of your spiritual beliefs, because I'm such an expert at power dynamics and understanding power spiritually that I'm floored, actually, that we believe some of the things that we do, because it's so obvious that it's just not true. So when we think about the law of attraction, I want you to think about it like this. The law of attraction. It is a law. It is a karmic law. Okay, it's one of the laws of the universe. So if you're focused on the law of attraction, then my question for you is, what do you find to be attractive? What do you consider to be attractive? Because if you have aligned with the law of attraction through your manifestation rituals and techniques and your beliefs are to align with this law, which is to send your personal power, not to yourself, not to your higher self, but to the law. So what you're doing, it's like going into a courtroom and saying, I don't have power and authority. The court, the Superior Court of Los Angeles has the power and authority. I will give my power to the Superior Court, and whatever the Superior Court of Los Angeles says I am deserving of, then I will receive. And now that I've said it like that, I am thrilled with myself for tackling this topic, that I think the law of attraction is bullshit. I'm not saying to not work with it. I'm just saying, like, why are you giving all your power and authority to a law when you can give it to yourself? All right. Now, a lot of you won't do that because you don't trust yourselves and you don't trust your spiritual alignment. And a lot of you aren't completely aligned with your higher selves. You aren't married to your soul. So you kind of do need to displace your power into another force so that you don't go running amok on your life. So anyway, have you thought about what you consider to be attractive? If you are aligned with all of your power and beliefs into the law of attraction, which is a real thing, it is a real law of the universe. The law of attraction it's not like, what do you like more, this or this? The law of attraction is functioning based on your own personal power, what you find to be attractive. And here's the deal. Your shadow finds a lot of things to be attractive that you might not be considering. And if you need me to bring that a little bit more forward, start thinking in the terms of kinks. And what I would say to you is, a lot of you, I'm not even taking this sexually, but I'd love for you to think about it that way, because that's where I would take this. There are a lot of like weird, seedy, funky things that we find attractive in our shadow, whether it's sexually, whether it's power dynamics, whether it's partners. Some of you might be like, sometimes I hear like, I can't stop attracting married men and attraction from married men. And I'm like, that's because that's what your shadow finds to be attractive. So, I would chill with your work with the law of attraction in that case, because you could affirm it all day. Like, I'm attracting the right partner. You could try to change your vibration, but your core vibrational signature says that's attractive. So I would chill and stop working with the law of attraction as a primary dominant force of how you're manifesting and working your magic with the universe, because there are many other forces you could work with. And I do recommend working with your higher power, your higher self, which is different than the karmic laws, by the way. We'll get into this in future videos. I feel like I need to be teaching all of the fucking time, because I don't even know things that are very common sense for me and that fall under my level of expertise. I'm like, I'm not even matched. There aren't even people that think like me. The ones that do are doing mirror work and doing fucking sorcery and manipulating the shit out of people and landing themselves in dark psychology contracts. And then you guys end up following them. They become cult leaders and we worship them. And it's like insane. It's a fucking nightmare. I'm like, is anyone doing this in the light? Or like, most of the people that are doing it in the light that you're following are gurus that are also cult leaders. And I'm like, can anyone please like preach self-love self-acceptance, self-adoration, self-worship, not from the place of narcissism. And I can say this because I have so much experience with narcissism as an empath that I'm like, even if you guys were to touch on that with me, I'd be like, it's so off base. What I'm actually teaching is self-confidence, which is the antidote to narcissism. Narcissism is actually an insecurity complex. So like, what are you finding to be attractive, and how familiar are you with what you find to be attractive? So even for me, if I reflect on my past behaviors and what I attract in men, towards me in romantic partners, if I'm being very, very honest, I'm not going to go into detail with you guys, but if I'm being honest, I'm like, you know what? I probably am really thrilled with like 50 to 60% of the traits that I attract, and the other 40 to 50%, I'm like, these are terrifying. And I need to course correct myself. This has nothing to do with me saying affirmations and trying to find the right man and put the impulse out there the right way with the law of attraction so that they get attracted in. This stuff is nonsense. What it has everything to do is me doing my shadow work, me focusing on myself and saying, what about these dark psychological traits do I find attractive, and why do I find them attractive? And how can I accept and love those deep inner parts of myself that are wounded, that are neglected, that are angry, that are traumatized, that are tortured? That I can love those parts of myself so I stop trying to manifest it in men around me, so that I am forced into a position of victimhood or in being manipulated and controlled in one way or another. It's usually psychologically. Now, I know where those trends come from for me, but the point is, like, in a situation like this, using the law of attraction in any standard way of manifestation, people would tell me to create a list of affirmations, say those affirmations every morning, which I'm going to be really honest with you guys, I don't say affirmations. I have one word every year. That is the only word I really cover for the year. I don't like to chant lots of affirmations. I don't like to think that I have to do a lot of things to change who I am to then get something from the universe. I think that is an incredibly, what would I call it? Insecure way of manifesting. I really believe that I can do and think and be who I am naturally, and that the universe will reflect the most ideal circumstances back to me naturally without effort. But it's my job, in this case, in this way of manifesting, to become the most authentic, most pleasing, happy, satiated version of me that is so pleased with every aspect of myself, that is so in love with myself. And I will preach self-love until I die. Like, I don't know anyone that loves me more than me, and I don't know anyone that will ever love me more than me. And the people that I love the most in my life carry the same attitude. They're like, I'm my own best friend. If you want to share in the company too, like, you know, I mean, I'm really enjoyable company. Like, I love my company, and I love when my friends speak like that too. Self-love is what creates that attraction. It's so much less about conditioning yourself to think a certain way or to perceive people a certain way or to only see the best in people. Like, talk about psychological damage and abuse from childhood. I don't even have time to cover it right now, but at some point we will cover that in the future. Constantly seeing people's best is a recipe for you getting trampled over in your little cute sacral chakra vegetable garden. All right. But anyway, so I just wanted to talk a little bit about the law of attraction and to change your perspective on it in a pioneering way so that you can start thinking about maybe taking some of that power back for yourself, aligning with your higher self, and working on extraordinary self-love and self-acceptance, because it doesn't really matter which facet you are tapped into in the moment and attracting from in your vibration to perfect the manipulation of what you're receiving from the universe. You could actually just practice radical fucking self-love. And this is not as simple as taking a bubble bath and saying affirmations. I mean real self-love. I mean this sort of self-love where you are talking to the most neglected, most manipulated, most tortured parts of yourselves, and you're loving them, where you are loving every aspect of your shadow, the part of you that wants to manipulate the world that I'm confronting with you guys right now, where you are loving all of the parts of you that feel like you are unlovable and that you want to be loved, and you're seeking that love, validation, and expression from absolutely everyone around you to the point where you're probably driving yourself crazy. I mean, all of those parts. We're going to go really, really deep on my channel this year. I'm really excited to have you here for this. If you're in, freaking like the video, go drop a comment below. Tell me you like my hair today. Just throwing in a cute little thing. So anyway, what I like to think about with attraction-based manifestation, you can attract from a stable place, you can attract from fatal attraction, or you can attract from inconsequential attraction. And the trick here is that there are a lot of you that are flipping in between stable, fatal, and inconsequential. And when you don't get the results you want, you end up falling into a fatal attraction category, which is an automatic, autopilot, low vibrational attraction that will attract to you very, very quickly. And it might look good on the surface because you might be getting what you want, but it is a fatal attraction. I encourage you guys to look up that term because I think it's really, really incredible. Like, my guides have been feeding through my understanding of fatal attraction and then the understanding of a stable and safe attraction, and how if you are not conditioned for stable attraction in every cell of your being, you are attracting either inconsequential attraction or fatal attraction, and that is fatal. All right. That's what I have for you guys right now. Maybe I'll do another part to this video. Let me know what questions you have, and I will dive deeper. Until next time, I will see you soon. Alrighty. Love you. Bye.